stop. Not slowly. Not casually. Stop right now. Do not scroll past this. Do not multitask. Do not let your mind wander to the anxiety of tomorrow or the regrets of yesterday. Take one breath. Hold it. Release it. Do you notice what just happened? The air feels heavier. The noise inside you softened. Something in your chest shifted without asking your permission. That is not your imagination. That is not a psychological trick. That is a spiritual pause. In the ancient Greek texts, there is a word for this, a suspension of judgment, a total cessation of the world's noise so that truth can enter. This moment is not ordinary. This message is not digital filler. This timing is not a coincidence. The divine architect just stepped into your timeline and said, this part is not meant to be shared. This part is not meant to be rushed. This part is not meant to be watched with noise around you. That is why you felt the sudden urge to be alone, because what he is about to speak cannot survive interruption. Chosen one, listen carefully. We are about to decode the silence that has been haunting you. God does not isolate people randomly. He separates them strategically. For thousands of years, whenever the divine prepared a vessel for a heavy assignment, the first step was always isolation. Think of Moses on Mount Sinai. Think of Elijah in the cave. Think of Jesus in the wilderness for 40 days. The early Christian mystics of the 4th century, known as the Desert Fathers and Mothers, understood this principle perfectly. They practiced hesychasm, the profound, uninterrupted stillness of the heart. They fled the cities, not because they hated people, but because they knew that the voice of God is a whisper, and the world is a megaphone. When a message is fragile, it is whispered. When a moment is sacred, it is guarded. When a transition is delicate, it is protected. God pulled you out of the noise today, because the next words you need to hear cannot pass through the filters of your current environment. They cannot survive fear-old wounds, people's opinions, or the emotional residue of your past. This message requires clarity, not reaction. Heavy knew that if you stayed in the noise 1 second longer, you might have responded from the wrong place. Let us speak the uncomfortable truth. Someone has been testing your spirit lately, not accidentally, not unknowingly. They have been pushing subtle buttons, reopening old conversations, mentioning things they know affect you. They are inviting reactions instead of seeking understanding. And the divine said, enough. Not because you are weak, but because what you are becoming is fragile right now. Not fragile in strength, but fragile in formation. And formation must be protected. Hear this slowly. God did not bring you here just to comfort you. He brought you here to preserve you. There are moments in the spiritual journey when one sentence spoken in raw emotion can undo months of obedience. One reaction can reopen doors that God already closed. One explanation can give access to people who no longer have spiritual clearance in your life. So, God stopped you, not to silence you forever, but to protect your next level of elevation. That is why your thoughts have felt so crowded lately, why your patience has been tested repeatedly, why old wounds have been brushed against unexpectedly. The enemy, the archonic forces that feed on chaos, does not attack randomly. He attacks during transition. Because if he cannot destroy you, he will try to provoke you. If he can make you react, he can pull you back down to his frequency. Let us name what you have been feeling, chosen one. You don't feel like explaining yourself anymore. You don't feel like defending your good intentions. You don't feel pulled into conversations that loop into nowhere. You don't feel energized by environments that once felt normal. And a part of you, the conditioned human part, wondered, what is wrong with me? Am I becoming depressed? Am I losing my edge? Nothing is wrong with you. You are outgrowing emotional chaos. God is upgrading your emotional posture. Where you once reacted, you now pause. Where you once defended, you now discern. Where you once explained, you now observe. This is not withdrawal. This is wisdom installing itself in your hard drive. Pay attention to this. Your energy feels limited, precious, and guarded right now. That is because God has marked this season as untouchable. You are in a spiritual quarantine. Not because you are sick, but because you are becoming dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. We live in an era that demands constant reaction. Social media, the news cycle, the culture of clapping back, they all demand that you prove your worth by how loudly you defend yourself. But the Stoic philosophers, like Marcus Aurelius, knew better. They knew that he who controls his reactions controls his reality. Let us speak truth about your current relationships. Some people are uneasy around you right now, not because you did something wrong, but because you stopped being predictable. Your peace unsettles their chaos. Your silence exposes their noise. Your newly erected boundaries confront their lack of access. They try to bring up the old you. They reference who you used to be. They poke at wounds that no longer bleed. Why? Because they are hoping you will react so they can feel familiar again. They need your chaos to validate their own. But heaven is saying, do not resurrect what I buried. You are not that version anymore. This is profoundly important. Silence is not avoidance. It is strategy. Calm is not weakness. It is authority. Stillness is not passivity. It is obedience. Every time you don't react, a pattern breaks. A generational curse collapses. An assignment from the enemy fails. The enemy expected panic. Expected a frantic defense. He expected a long, exhausting explanation. Instead, you stayed anchored, and that confused him. You are standing in the liminal space, the hallway between who you were and who God is unveiling. And this space is dangerous, because both heaven and hell are paying very close attention. God is shaping discernment in you. Not just blessings, not just opportunities. Discernment. The ability to feel what is off without needing physical proof. The ability to walk away without needing closure. The ability to trust the silence over the noise. This is preparation for instruction, because what is coming next is direction, and direction must be received without contamination. God is about to expose motives. He's about to reveal intentions. He's about to uncover hidden resistance, shift relationships, and confirm your path. But he needs your spirit clear. Not defending. Not emotionally hijacked. Focused. You will not need to speak. You will not need to confront. You will not need to reveal anything. The divine will do it for you. What you endured privately, he will address publicly. What confused you silently, he will clarify openly. What hurt you deeply, he will redeem completely. But only if you stay still. Chosen one, stay calm, stay quiet, stay aligned. Not forever. Just for now. Your next move is sacred. Your next season is sensitive. Your next assignment is heavy with purpose. Let the Creator finish what he started in the dark room of your soul. Before you leave this moment, do not rush away from what just touched your spirit. If something inside you grew quiet, if your heart felt seen without needing to explain itself, if peace settled where anxiety used to live, that was an emotion. That was God drawing near. Make a simple sacred response. Type Amen. Amen in the comments. Not for visibility, not out of habit, but as a quiet whisper to heaven that you heard the call, and you are willing to stay still. If this message felt personal, if it felt like it was meant to be heard alone, subscribe. Do not miss the moments when the divine speaks softly, but changes everything. And if someone came to your heart while listening, someone who has been overwhelmed, provoked, or spiritually, tie your chair. This, with them. This may be the exact anchor their soul has been praying for. Remember this, chosen one. Your silence is not your weakness. It is your greatest weapon.